Hi everybody, my name is Abdul Wahab Al Busaidi. I'm from the Sultanate of Oman. So I'll be presenting to you mine and my colleagues' trip to Mount Kilimanjaro. But above all, I'll be giving you some tips which you will hopefully find very useful while attempting this wonderful adventure. So basically, four of us climbed, Dr. Muhammad Al-Shamsi, Khalifa Al-Azri, Nasser Qassabi, and myself. It was in October 2016. So maybe a note here is that before you climb, you need to make sure that it's not during the rainy season because usually the mountain is closed for climbing during the rainy season. And also, even if it's open, you will likely face some safety issues. So it's advised to watch out for the season. That's really a key note there. So maybe just to give you a little bit of feel about the mountain itself. It is located in the northeastern part of Tanzania. It's the highest freestanding mountain of the highest mountain in Africa and the highest freestanding mountain in the world. So this mountain was basically created as a result of stratovolcano activity. So it's a volcanic activity. It's not an uplift or meeting of plate tectonics, rather an uplift of volcano. It has got three cones, Kibo, Mawenzi, and Shira. So about 35,000 have climbed this mountain, and around two-thirds usually make it to the top. So the biggest challenge while climbing the mountain is the mountain sickness or related to altitude. And of course, there'll be less oxygen as you go higher and higher. So the mountain snow tops or the caps are diminishing very, very fast. So most of it is really already gone. So whoever wants to go, you better make it before the next 20 years or so, because it will completely disappear in 20 years. So the beauty of Mount Kilimanjaro compared to many other mountains in the world is that you will be able to witness at least 5 different ecosystems, which I will come to later. So you start with the rainforest, you go to more heatherland, to the alpine desert, to the glaciers, and so on. So it's very fascinating. So that you'll spend a week of probably moving from one continent to another. This is the map of Africa, and the red spot that you see is Mount Kilimanjaro. It is the northeastern part of Tanzania, very close to the border of Kenya. In fact, you'll be seeing Mount Meru at the distance towards the north, and that is basically the direction of Kenya. So usually there are about 7 or so routes to Mount Kilimanjaro. The one we took is the Machame route. They call it, it has a rather weird name, Whiskey Road, but this is the nickname given by the locals. But Machame is the official name of the route, and the reason we chose is that it takes you through the different ecosystems. And if you go from the northern side, you will miss the rainforest and maybe one or two other important ecosystems. So we recommend that you take the southern routes, whether it's Machame, Umbwe. Moika is only for descending, and of course there is a Marangu Gate Park headquarters. So making a choice of the route is very important, and the ones that I recommend from the ones going from the south. So how do you prepare? Well, you have to have some sort of physical fitness. You need to do some running, hiking. You need to spend at least a few months to have some physical preparation. You could go biking, any kind of sports that you feel that you enjoy. But preparation is required. You don't have to be super fit, to be honest. Relative moderate exercise of about an hour and a half is more than enough to take you all the way to the top. But above all, the mindset plays a key role here. It's not only stamina, cardio that you require, but also you need to have the will and the desire and the not to quit sort of attitude as you go up. So also you need to go online, watch documentaries such as this one, presentation, any tip that you come across. The more you prepare, the better. and you need to do a good study of the area. So the program that we had basically started from the 26th of October. So we started trekking for about 7 or 8 hours. That is the rainforest part, and in fact, one of the most fascinating areas to begin with. Next, we started going to the Shira camp. That's where we spent the night. In fact, that probably turned out to be pretty cold, really. It is an altitude of around 3,800 meters, but by then you will already start experiencing the cold weather. So the third day, we went to Barranco camp, and the trekking also lasted about 8 hours because they always advise you to go slow, which means in Swahili they keep telling you to go pole pole, pole pole. And that basically is not to rush so that you don't run out of breath. And we spent the third night at Barafu camp. So yeah, and this is basically for acclimatization purposes. And also the trekking, for us it took us, I would guess, around 10 hours. And we went down, of course, to Moika camp and then back to the hotel. So this was our program. These are some of our porters and some of our, folks who are accompanying with us. So we had 12 porters for 4 of us, 1 cook, and 1 sanitary support. In fact, it is really, really a requirement to take with you a mobile sort of toilet so that, for your own health and for your own sanitation, we would highly recommend to have your own toilet, which is cleaned on a daily basis. In fact, every time you use it, the cleaner is there to put chemicals and so on. We had with us 2 great guides. And so this is the beginning of our climb. We started with the Montana rainforest, one of the most fascinating really forests I've come across. It has got rather peculiar sort of vegetations and trees, and you'll see a number of monkeys. I'll show you in a moment. So this is our first day. We're dressed in a very relaxed mode, as you see, and those are our porters taking our stuff. This is the Clovis monkey that you will see definitely before you climb or during the climb. You need to watch for it near the gate, the entrance gate. So, the vegetation is very rich, really, and you can take multiple photos. And if you have keen interest in particular plants, and there are also some small mammals, and of course you'll see lizards, chameleons, and so on. Okay, this is probably the thing that you will not see anywhere in the world. It's called giant grousel. It's a rather strange looking tree, but it's beautiful. They're about, I would say, maybe 6-7 meters tall, and they look to be upside down. And they're really, really interesting. So I'll just show you a video here that we were climbing and showing us the giant grousel. And the rocks you can see, they look to me more like igneous rocks over there, because they are mostly volcanic rocks. Remember, this was a result of volcanic eruption. This is the moorland. So this is basically the phase 3 before you go to the Alpine Desert. That is Nasr al-Qasabi there. And also a short video to show you. And you need to use, of course, the poles. I will come to show you all the tips, or most of the tips that we have compiled.
Pole, pole,
Pole, pole. You can hear the guy telling us pole, pole, so always be careful. Yeah, walk slowly. Absolutely. Khalifa there, Nasser. And you can hear the sound of the waterfall. Beautiful, really, beautiful. Yeah. So the view is spectacular, really. I mean, you will not get enough. The higher you go, the more beautiful it becomes. So this is our guide here.
already. It's a press red, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. My favorite spot was this. I believe it was Barranco sort of wall. You can see the cloud before you, and what you see on the distance there, the distance is Mount Meru, and as I said earlier, that is heading towards Kenya. And it's really, you can spend an hour to admire this amazing, phenomenal view, really spectacular. So So this is probably my favorite view, and of course there are many others. And usually you're given a test once you're at the top to see how you're doing. So it's called
This is lava tower balance exercise. Now we need to go back.
That was a joke, actually.
Oh, that's right.
No, that was a joke.
So basically you need to prove to the guides that you can still maintain your balance, and you can, oh, look at this now. This is the glaciers, which I told you it will disappear. So whoever wants to go, the earlier you go, the more you will see, because it's just declining very fast, the ice glaciers. And look at the mountain, so at the distance, Mount Meru still visible. The clouds are well below you. And this is us with a number of tourists from different countries. And the beauty of the mountain climbing is that you will meet a lot of people while camping, while hiking. So it's an opportunity to socialize and meet people from different countries. So these are the things that I've told you, that the recommendations that we make. You need to take some sort of, dates or whatever, energy biscuits, chocolates, whatever things that you like. And Diamox is something we use daily. It basically helps you with altitude sickness. As I said, you need your walking sticks. And the list is there, so you can take a note and try to make sure that you follow as much tips as you get either from here and from other places, because the better prepared you are. I mean, imagine while at the climbing stage you are missing one or two things that you can easily go back, because there are no places that you can buy them from. So having your gloves, your thermal clothing, taking your malaria tablets, and so on and so forth. Again, this is what you will need. So I've put the accessories and the clothes. So if you're watching this, you probably pause and make a printout of this and go through them. So I don't want to go through them one by one, but these are things you definitely need. And so this is the certificates we're given, and that's where when we reach the top of the mountain. And I can tell you that it is a feeling and an experience you will never ever in your life. And at the end, you're given a small celebration by the guide.
Hakuna Matata.
Has enjoyed it. And, you will climb Mount Kilimanjaro one day.